right, so I've just done question 13 for this game. I'm going to do the substitution question. Question 16, all right, so yeah, I've only ever seen the substitution question being the last one in a game. If it's not the last one, I'd probably save it for last anyways. Yeah, so the rule that we're trying to find a substitution for, and so we're trying to figure out which one of these answer choices is logically equivalent to the original rule when we combine it with the other original rules. So it may not be logically equivalent to this rule on its own, but there might be some redundancies that we can take advantage of in the other rules that makes it so that this new condition together with the other rules would end up giving us the same effect as the original. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we're substituting the last rule. And the last rule is F before O and O before R and K. So we already know that N and T are before O from the other rule. So let's see. First, we can look at this just as like a must be true question, right? Which one of the following must be true? So we'll see if I can eliminate any of these answer choices based on that. A, T is discussed third. That's going to be a problem because T actually could be second. So A is out. T is discussed earlier than F. So again, that's not necessarily true. So F could be earlier than T, so B doesn't have to be true. C, K and R are among the last 3 books discussed. Okay, so sure, but they're really among the last 2, right? Like if they were just among the last 3 discussed, then O would kind of be in the mix with them. So C it's true, and F is among the first 3. Yeah, that's true. But if we added that rule, then O would still be in the mix here rather than like always fourth. So C is out because it would allow some things that wouldn't be allowed under the original condition. So it would allow O to be 5th or 6th. So C is too lenient. Okay. D, K and R are discussed in consecutive weeks. That's true. Okay, so now K and R, whether they're K before R or R before K, they're in consecutive weeks. So they're like a block now, which could be important. And O is discussed 4th. Well, we know O has to be discussed 4th. So if we added that to this condition here, so we have our 6 spots, we have O here. Now N and T have to be before O, right? So if we have a block for R and K, they're not going to be able to fit in any of these 3 spots here, right? That's not going to work. They're going to have to take these 2 spots at the end, which means that F, even though with this condition replacing the original, F would kind of be a floater, it does mean that F can only be in one of the first 3 spots because it can't be 4th, because O is there, and it can't be one of these last 2 because that's where the block is available for K and R. So D is the correct answer. Let's see why E is wrong. So E is wrong because it doesn't have to be true. So F does not have to be 3rd. It could be 1st or 2nd. So E is out. This one, treating it like a must be true question allows us to eliminate 3 out of the 5 answer choices. So that's really valuable. That's a valuable strategy. For this game in particular, it's not always going to work out quite that way, but for this game, that's going to change it from a 20% guess, just guessing out of the 5 options, to a 50-50 guess, right? So, and then, if you do have the time to do it, then like you can actually get the right answer, without guessing, right? But even if you're thinking, oh my goodness, substitution questions, like they're way too hard and they take way too much time, like I'm just going to skip them so that I have more time for questions that I have a better chance of getting right, which is not a bad strategy. What you could do is you could just treat every substitution question like a global must be true question. And since it's usually at the end of the game, you probably have a bunch of acceptable solutions that you can look to. I mean, here we were able to create all of the possible sequences. But yeah, I mean, you probably have at least a few acceptable solutions that you can look back on. And this particular one, even though it's dealing with a hybrid game, the substitution question really only applies to the sequencing element of the game, not really the in and out element. So that's kind of handy also. Yeah. So anyways, you could treat it like a must be true question and then at least increase your chances of getting it right, and decrease the amount of time that you're spending on substitution questions. Yeah. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. If you do have more questions about this game or any other games, just let me know.